8 months pregnant. Christmas Eve. Sitting at a polished mahogany table in a house so big it echoed when people laughed, and they were laughing at me. Not quietly either. Out loud. Glasses, clinking voices overlapping like this was some kind of entertainment instead of my life falling apart in real time. My hands were shaking, my stomach tight, my baby shifting inside me like she could feel the tension too. And right there, under the glow of white Christmas lights and fake cheer, I was being told to sign divorce papers. That's how my story cracked open, not with a fight, not with screaming, but with laughter. And yeah, that hurt more than anything. My name is Mariah Collins. At least it was still Mariah Collins that night. I'd married into the Hale family less than 2 years earlier, thinking I'd found love stability a future. Instead, I was sitting in their ancestral home in Northbrook, Illinois, being reminded exactly where I came from, and where, according to them, I didn't belong. The smell of pine and roasted turkey hung in the air, Christmas music drifting through the halls, and every detail felt cruelly out of place. You know that feeling when your world is collapsing, but everything around you looks picture perfect. Yeah, that. Across from me sat Eleanor Hale, my mother-in-law, elegant, composed, terrifyingly calm. Beside her were her daughters Grace and Lillian, both sipping champagne like this was a casual business meeting. And somewhere behind them, my husband, Daniel Hale, stood near the fireplace, barely looking at me. I kept thinking maybe if I catch his eye, maybe if he sees how broken I am right now, he'll step in. He didn't. Mariah, Eleanor said, tapping the papers with one manicured finger. "We've all agreed this is for the best. You can stop crying now." The room chuckled. Not all of them, but enough. Grace smirked. Lillian sighed dramatically. Someone whispered something I couldn't quite hear, but I didn't need to. I felt it. I looked down at the papers, the words blurring. Dissolution of marriage, settlement agreement, non-disclosure clause. It all felt unreal. "You're asking me to sign divorce papers on Christmas Eve," I said, my voice shaking, "while I'm 8 months pregnant with your son's child." Grace laughed, sharp and quick. "Oh, please don't make this dramatic. You knew this wasn't going to last." Lillian added, "Let's be honest, you got more than you bargained for already." I turned to Daniel then. "Say something," I begged. "Just talk to me." He sighed like I was inconveniencing him. "Mariah, my family's right. We rushed into this. It was fun, but it's over. The baby will be taken care of. You'll get a settlement. It's generous. Generous." That word echoed in my head. I didn't want his money. I wanted my husband. I wanted the man who used to bring me coffee in bed, who talked about baby names with me at midnight. But that man wasn't there anymore, if he ever really was. That's when Eleanor stood and slid the papers closer. "Sign," she said, flat and final. "This family has standards. You were never a part of that world, and it's time we corrected the mistake." My hands trembled as I reached for the pen. I felt small, cornered, exhausted. And honestly, for a second, I thought maybe they were right. Maybe I should just sign and escape the room, the laughter, the humiliation. Then a voice cut through everything. "Mariah." Everyone turned. Standing in the doorway was Lucas Hale Daniels' younger brother. I'd met him once at our wedding. He lived abroad, worked with humanitarian projects, barely came around. He looked out of place in that room. No suit, no champagne, just a quiet presence. "When was the last time you ate?" he asked. The question caught me so off guard I almost laughed. Almost. I couldn't remember. He looked at the table, then back at me, his jaw tightening. "This is wrong," he said. "You're forcing a pregnant woman to sign legal documents under pressure, on Christmas Eve." Eleanor snapped at him to leave. Daniel told him to stay out of it. Lucas didn't raise his voice. He didn't argue. He just walked over, pulled out a chair, and told me I didn't have to decide anything tonight. And for the first time all evening, someone wasn't telling me what to do. They were giving me space to breathe. I excused myself to the bathroom, locked the door, and broke down. Full body sobs. I stared at my reflection and barely recognized myself. Swollen eyes, blotchy skin, fear, written all over my face. I kept thinking, how did I end up here? How did love turn into this? When I came out, Lucas was waiting with a plate of food and guided me to a quiet sitting room away from the chaos. That's where everything changed. He told me the truth. Daniel had been promised to someone else long before he met me. A woman from the right family, the right background. When Daniel married me instead, his mother saw it as a betrayal. She'd spent months working on him, questioning my motives, my background, even the pregnancy. Lucas told me they'd investigated me, tried to find something, anything. They found nothing, so they made things up. Then he told me something they never intended for me to know: the Hale family trust. There was a clause buried deep in the legal language. Any beneficiary who divorced within 5 years of marriage forfeited 20% of their inheritance to their spouse. No prenup could override it. 20% of Daniel's share was roughly $12 million. I felt dizzy. The number didn't feel real. Lucas explained why they were rushing, why they were pressuring me to sign without a lawyer. They weren't being generous. They were trying to save themselves. He offered to call an attorney he trusted on Christmas Eve. I nodded without hesitation. An hour later, attorney Naomi Brooks walked into that house like she owned it. Calm, sharp, unimpressed. She read the papers, smiled, and said the settlement offer was insulting. She quoted the trust clause word for word. You could feel the shift in the room. Confidence drained. Smiles vanished. Eleanor went pale. Grace started arguing. Naomi shut it down with facts. Daniel tried to talk to me then. Said he loved me. Said we could fix things. I looked at him and realized something painful and freeing at the same time. Love isn't what you say when it's easy. Love is what you do when it costs you something. He had chosen comfort, approval, money. Not me. Not our child. I didn't sign that night. I walked out with my lawyer and the one person in that family who had shown me decency. I didn't know what the future held. I knew it would be messy. I knew I'd be judged. But I also knew I wasn't powerless. I never was. Sometimes people try to shrink you because they're afraid of what happens when you realize your worth. Sometimes the quietest ally is the one who changes everything. So here's my question to you. What would you have done? Would you have signed just to make the pain stop? Or would you have fought back knowing the cost? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your own stories. And if you believe in standing up when it matters, hit like, subscribe, and stay with us. More stories like this are coming.